Hey, greetings, salutations, everybody. My name is Axe, and today is a special video. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't totally know where it's going to go, and it's going to be personal. It's going to be deep. It's going to be insight into my life, and it's going to be something that I wish many people could see this, and that might sound incredibly cocky. It's not out of cockiness. I wish a lot of people could see this video. I don't care if I made a penny off it, but just if I had heard this video at the state I was in, I think it would have helped me. And, yeah. So, to put things into perspective here and get into the stuff, disclaimer, it will be heavy, it will be deep, it will be personal, and my goal is that it helps one person. If it helps one person, I'm satisfied. And I'm in the mood and the time to do this. So today is February 4th. Today is February 4th. Today is February 4th, 2013. It is 9:55 p.m. at night. And 1 year ago, my life started a new chapter. From all of my videos that you've seen, you can probably tell I'm a very happy person. I'm a very happy guy. I enjoy bringing out joy in others, and I enjoy making people laugh with me, and I'm a funny guy. I enjoy the room, that's what I've been told, and I have a presence, apparently, and I make videos talking about issues not to give advice, so to speak, but to help if anybody needs it. And I don't know, that isn't what advice is, but I don't view it as that. I just view it as maybe somebody will get something out of this. And yeah. But 1 year ago, to put things into perspective, actually I'm going to talk about progression, because I've gone from nothing to legitimate happiness. Legitimate happiness, as in nothing right now makes me feel bad. And by bad, I mean bad. Like, people think that, like, bad hair day, or like, oh man, I stubbed my toe, like, that's a bad day. It's like, no, you don't know what a bad day is. You don't even know what a bad day is. Basically, to put things into perspective, 1 year ago, a new chapter in my life began. And since then, things I thought were never possible in my life, or goals in my life I never thought I'd reach, or parts of myself that I never thought I'd open up again, have been opened, or have been shown, or have been reached. And I never thought it was possible. So I will give you some backstory. Here's insight into Axe's life a bit. So 1 year ago, my senior year of high school, so actually I guess a year and a half ago, I started my senior year of high school. I had all my life been a very happy person, who brought happiness to others in an attempt to fix himself. Though I was happy, it was kind of a shell. On the inside, I was a very broken and hurt person at times, but I thought that was just life. I thought, everyone's a bit broken and hurt on the inside, but you're doing that. And I thought, I'd like to think of myself as a philosopher, but that's a title that others should be given to me. But I thought a lot. And I was expected throughout high school I always got straight A's. I was supposed to be the kid that was going to get straight A's, get the high diploma, the honors diploma, and go off to college for 4 years and get a degree in something great and live the rest of my life in stereotypical, comfortable, rich, successful happiness. And I never wanted that deep down, but I went with it because I was smart, and I went with the stuff I did. And so freshman year was good. Freshman year was okay. Sophomore year, I started getting more and more hurt, and more and more stuff started happening in my life. And junior year, so much was happening in my life that people actually came up to me once and said, "How can you function?" And I just said, "I don't know. I just zone out." I was on autopilot my entire high school year until my senior year. And my senior year, over the junior to senior summer, a lot in my life had happened that was getting more painful. And that's for another time to talk about all that. But, yeah, I started my senior year of high school. I was in AP classes, college courses, international baccalaureate, capstone. I was on the road to becoming a successful academic scholar, and I cracked. My world fell around me. All this stuff that had been building up inside me, and life getting progressively harder and harder, and I snapped. And I spiraled into depression that I was already part of. I already was depressed, but I spiraled into it to the point of where I did not leave bed. I missed half of my senior year. Over half of my senior year of high school, because I could not get out of bed every morning. I attended school 1 to 2 days a week, if that. I didn't go for almost 3 weeks, and then I didn't make it any day because I could not care. I was driven past the point of where any emotions could lie. And I was so, and people would ask me, what are your plans? What's this like? What do you plan to do tomorrow? And I just told them survive. Everybody was shocked, teachers count, stuff like that. No one understood at the time, but they're just like, well, what's your plan with this? And it's like, I intend to make it through today. And that is hard. And people couldn't get it because you were not there. But anyways, point is I spiraled into depression. I grew bitter towards life. I shut people out. I closed up parts of my heart I never thought could ever be reopened. I was afraid to be hurt, so I didn't get close to anybody. I couldn't care, not because I didn't care. I wasn't like some kid like, yeah, I don't care about anything. No, I physically and mentally could not care about tomorrow, the day after, the future, anything. Because of that, I had to drop almost all my AP college classes, and attended school barely to try and do stuff. Getting out of bed was the most difficult thing I could ever do. And I remember every day lying in bed, wishing I did not exist. I didn't want to die. I didn't want to, I wished I could just fade out of existence and just start anew or be somewhere else. I don't know what I wanted. I was fantasizing about weird things, and I thought in my head that that's life now. I would get better, but I would always feel this broken pain inside of me, and that would never mend, and that would never fix, and that life is just merely a lot of existence, and it's a lot of lingering, and it's masking pains with superficial things until this or that. And I had such a horrible view on things because I could not care. I thought I didn't think about life. I didn't think about anything except for just that moment I was in and not wanting to be around people because I hated trying to explain myself. I felt so guilty and so hurt by everything. So because of that, I was sure at that point my life was now scrapped. Not that my life was going to be awful, but hey, I missed that initial out of high school shot. I'm not going to get into all the stuff. I'm not going to be smart. I'm not going to get the good diploma. I might not even graduate. If I don't graduate, I'm going to find some shitty job. I won't ever find anybody this. I won't ever find happiness. I won't be wealthy. I won't, all this stuff in my life. I thought, okay, now everything from here is a downhill spiral. Everything. I lost faith in all this stuff. I didn't care. I didn't believe in. Everyone was saying everything will be fine. It's like, you have no idea. You're not here. And people would give all these encouraging words that wouldn't matter. And because of that, I got put into lower end classes because I could not function higher. So a lot of the courses I ended up being with were video arts courses. With a teacher I had freshman year, because freshman year I took a video arts course. So I ended up in a lot of TV broadcasting, video arts aiding courses. And the guy's name who ran that, his name was Patrick Welch. And he's an Irish guy. Interesting man. He has Bono on a speed dial, I believe. And he does all these, I don't know, he's a guy who is hard to figure out, but you know that he's figured out a lot about life. And he's done a lot of things. And he thinks a lot too. But this man gave me more shots than I could ask for, along with many people. And he knew the state I was in. And he took me in his classes, and he would just allow me to be there. And he would try to start conversation, but it was never aggressive. It's like he knew. It was interesting. But day in and day out, I did this really loose schedule, and I wasn't even there most of the time. I barely made it, but when I did made it, he always was very cool. And in that class, even though I knew some, I obviously picked up a lot of video editing stuff, especially work with Adobe Premiere, and especially work with cinema and all that stuff that I started gaining interest in. And so when I was home, depressed all the time, Netflix movies were what I watched to pass the time because I couldn't care about anything else. I just sat in bed and watched movie upon movie upon movie to drown out my emotions. And so obviously I started growing in that sense. And I thought at this point, again, that my life was going nowhere and I would never find anything to bring me incredible happiness. Anyways, a year ago from today, something changed in my life that started a new chapter, finally. Something I thought would never come, and it did. And at that moment, I couldn't believe that life was there. It literally felt as though I was lying under covers in a dark room, and suddenly the windows just, like, the blinds flew open and there was light that I could see from beyond my blanket. That's how I felt. And I remember feeling that light, if you want to say it symbolically, and saying, I want it, and started throwing off cover after cover. I wanted to get to that light suddenly. And so that's something I never thought happened. I remember smiling. I remember going back to that day, and I couldn't have been happier. I was so happy. Nothing could have ruined that day, because things started finally taking turn. And I was still missing school, still depressed and whatnot. But certain people started making influences in my life. And suddenly, I started making it to school. I started retaking this. I retook my tests. I did all this. My teachers were incredibly understanding, because I had a school counselor. His name was Gary Whitley. That man drove out to my house twice while I was depressed. One day, he drove out twice. One time I was sleeping. He came back later just to talk to me. He didn't say you need to get to school. He didn't say this. He just talked to me. And that guy was beyond the Call of Duty. God, that was a horrible example. He went above and beyond what he was meant to do. And that impacted me. And suddenly, between certain people in my life and stuff happening, I started going back to school. I started making more days and more days and more days and more days, until suddenly I made the last 3 weeks of high school without missing one day. And that might sound really pathetic, but going from 1 to 2 days a week, not being able to get out of bed, to totally crashing when we got home, to 3 solid weeks of high school. And I made all my classes. I got good grades in all of them. I got an A in my AP government class. And I graduated with honors, which is a 3.5 GPA or above. I graduated my high school after missing half my years, dropping out of many classes in this, and graduated with honors. Over the summer, I then lost 40 pounds. I was never fat, but I was overweight, and I'm wearing shorts right now that I remember I got at the beginning of summer, and they were very comfortable. And it was like, oh, this is great. These aren't bad. Now, if I push down the pockets, I can pull these things off like instantly. Like, I need a belt for this. I've lost that much. I lost 40 pounds. I started eating healthier, and that alone brought me happiness because of that feeling of this. I started feeling better about myself. I started liking life, and suddenly, all those video arts classes I thought were just derp, like waste of my time. I suddenly wanted to do YouTube more. And so I had a channel with friends. I left that and I started this one on my own. And I kept this mentality of fun. And I wouldn't have, like, this fun idea of just, I want to make people laugh. I want to play what I want to play. I want to make it happy. And so, I then, through that, met Double Ryan. And, one day I'll make a commentary specifically for him. But Ryan has done more for my life than I thought humans could for one another. Because of him, this YouTube thing started growing and it became possible. And now I'm actually on this small channel side of things. 2,000 subscribers, over 2,000, might seem like a low number in the large scale of it. But honestly, I can't believe it every single day. And being able to interact with you all as I do, and you telling me these things of how you take my advice and you think I'm an amazing guy and all this stuff, it blows my mind, and it makes me feel things that I didn't think I could. And through Ryan, I've given this opportunity, and this opportunity gave me more self-confidence, and this self-confidence made me feel even happier about things. And then I'm just gonna straight up say it, through Ryan, I met Jess, and I love her. I honestly love her. That I don't care how weird that might sound, but she has made me feel things that I never thought I physically could. When I talked about blocking people out earlier and shelling myself off from fear, that is through her, unintentionally. Not like she meant to do this, but it's through her that I've opened up those parts of my heart again to people, and I've opened up myself to people, and I'm not afraid of being fragile or vulnerable, because I'm not. I feel very solid. I feel like I have an existence. I feel like I have a floor to stand on, and I'm happy, and I smile every day, and I make videos because it's fun, not because of anything else. And now I'm thinking of the future. I'm planning college out for the future. I'm looking for work here. I'm getting stuff on track in my life that I never thought I'd have happen, and I wake up every day with a smile, and I go to bed with a smile, because even though I might have bad days, nothing compares to where I was at. And I just want to put this into perspective here. Life is unpredictable, and you can never even assume what life will end up being. It'll change every day. And right now I'm in a moment where everything is put together, and one day stuff will fall apart, and one day stuff will eventually rise up again. And that's life. But in these moments where everything is put together are the moments you have to appreciate, because I look back at my history and I think of this. Many people have asked me, Would you wish that this stuff had not happened in your life? And it was a very heavy divorce along with depression earlier that happened in my life. And people say, would you relive that? Or not relive, would you change anything about that? Would you change anything about your life right now? And I tell them, no, I would not change one single thing. I would not wish what I went through upon my worst enemy. I would not wish that upon them ever. Ever, ever, ever. But I wouldn't change it, because I became the man I am today because of that. And that might sound cocky for being someone of 18 calling himself a man, but I don't truly know what it means to be grown up. But I know that these feelings of integrity and self-doubt, and this not self-doubt, the lack of self-doubt, and the feeling of just happiness and strongness and just inner, you know who you are, must count for something. I wouldn't be the man I am today if it wasn't for that. I hope that's what it means to be a man. Who knows? I'll tell you in a few years more. But, for those of you who are in a situation of pain or hurt or depression or worrying about life, I want to put it to you this way. I thought that dropping out of those classes was the worst thing to ever happen to me. I thought that my life was now done. I thought I would never get into a good college now because I missed the high school jump. I'll be behind. I wouldn't get the job. If I don't get the job, I wouldn't get the education. If I don't get the education, I'm going to fail now, and my life is just going to be miserable. I'm going to find some random person that I don't really like, but I'm lonely, so I might go with them, or maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I'd just go off to be loneliness. And I want to tell you this. If I hadn't had this depression happen, I wouldn't have dropped out of those classes. If I hadn't dropped out of those classes, I wouldn't have been put into video arts classes. If I hadn't been put into video arts classes, I wouldn't have done this YouTube. If I hadn't done this YouTube, I wouldn't have met Ryan. If I hadn't met Ryan, I wouldn't have felt this confidence I met Jess. And if I hadn't done all those things, and I've not been through the past I've been, and have realized the place I've come from, and come from nothing to suddenly something, and appreciating every little thing, I would not feel this happy, and my life would not be this, and I would not change 1 second of that. I would never want to relive it, but I would not change 1 second of that. And that's life. Life is weird. And never think that you've figured it out, because I sure as hell haven't, and nobody can. And yeah, hold on to any hope you have. And don't ever think that stuff will not go well for you. Don't expect things to always go well, and don't expect things to always go bad. And if there's something that you feel that you want to do, take that shot. Because I thought this YouTube was going to be ridiculous at first. I thought it wasn't going to go anywhere. And I took that shot. And now I am a small-sized channel I'm a guy, actually, I say, who has a small-sized channel, who's thinking about future, who's happy every time he wakes up, who has a girlfriend who he really cares about, and who has a family that he would do anything for because they stood by him in times of pain. And I know who I am, and I have my ground, and I'm never changing that, and I don't back down anymore. And I feel happy. I feel, honest to God, happy, people. And you have a part in that too. So thank you. And I know this was a 20-minute video. I hope somebody got something out of this. And if you did, that's great. And I hope that it helps somebody. Just don't think you have it all figured out. And don't think that you know how your life is going to go, because it won't go that way. Just go with it. Enjoy the ride. Appreciate the moments of good. And hold out through the times of darkness. And as I said 1 year ago in a horrible message I wrote, capturing my thing, pray that darkness always yields to the light. Have an amazing day, everybody.